Thursday, September 25th at 7 p.m. We're in the City of Cottage Grove Council Chamber, and I'd like to call the South Washington County Telecommunications Commission to order. Executive Director Schweiskuth, could you please do the roll call?
Commissioner Ingeman.
Here.
Commissioner Downs.
Here.
Commissioner Clausen.
Here.
Commissioner Bloom.
Here.
Commissioner Date.
Here.
Commissioner Wilczek.
Here.
Commissioner James.
Here.
Commissioner Thiede.
Here.
Commissioner Polta.
Here.
Also present is Attorney Michael Bradley, Technical Manager Lonnie Garland, and myself, Ann Schweiskuth.
All right, thank you. We do have a quorum, so we can conduct tonight's business. The first item on the agenda is public comment. Being as we have no one here this evening, we'll move on to our next item on the agenda, which is the approval of the agenda. We're looking for a motion.
Move the agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the agenda is approved. The next item on our agenda is our consent agenda. We're looking for a motion for approval.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the consent agenda is approved. The next item on our agenda is the Intrepid fiber broadband application. I'll turn it over for presentation to our attorney, Michael Bradley.
Okay. Good evening, Madam Chair and members. For over 40 years, this commission has franchised cable communications systems on behalf of its member cities and their residents. The first franchise granted by this commission was in 1983. It was actually negotiated by my retired law partner, Tom. In the past, the focus has been on cable television operators. Through franchising has been an overwhelming success. Through franchising, the commission oversaw a company with initially no presence in the public right-of-way and no customers, and we saw that company start up and ultimately become the most robust cable communication system in the area. For those of us who can remember, in 1982, residents had access to about 5 broadcast television stations. And having a TV on your phone was stuff of science fiction. During the time from 1983 to now, this commission has made certain of many things that benefit residents, including having all residents having service, having build-out obligations, making sure all residents were covered, making sure the communication system was upgraded to meet community needs, enforcing customer service standards, enforcing rate regulations, ensuring that all residents had access to the same services, protecting subscriber privacy, and ensuring signal quality throughout the system. And we shouldn't forget also developing a robust community media center in what is now True Lens Community Media. Interestingly, that was first run by the franchised cable operator, and now obviously has been run by the commission for many years. The success of franchising is undeniable, especially when compared to phone system regulation, and that should be of no surprise. This was a predicted outcome when the legislature decided cable communication systems should be regulated at the local level and not the state level like phone companies are. Today, we have reliable service throughout the area that is taken for granted. Today, we have a system that now provides hundreds of channels and broadband. Franchising is a massive success story. Today now, we turn to a modern cable communications system, a fiber-to-the-home broadband system. This is the future of franchising and communications. Perhaps one day we'll look back at 2025 like we do to 1983 today and think about how primitive our technology was. But also grateful, I hope, that a local body of government was looking out for our interests. Before you today is a broadband franchise for Intrepid Fiber Networks that will give Intrepid the privilege to use the public rights-of-way to construct a modern, state-of-the-art cable communication system bringing fiber to the home and broadband services to the city of Woodbury. To give you a little bit of an idea of Intrepid Fiber Networks system, this will be an open access system, meaning they'll build a system that will be used by one or more other providers to provide service to area residents. Residents will not buy service directly from Intrepid. Intrepid will be the wholesale provider essentially, and then retail service will be provided by Intrepid's customers. Commission directors, we noted in the staff report that Intrepid's legal, financial, and technical qualifications were considered, and that as staff, we recommend them. I wanted to give you a brief overview, maybe not so brief, but an overview of the broadband franchise. First, the franchise will be non-exclusive, meaning the commission can grant more franchises to other broadband companies that want to serve in Woodbury and throughout this area. This is a broadband franchise, so this authorizes the grantee, Intrepid, to construct a cable communication system to provide broadband service, as that's defined in the franchise. Intrepid has agreed to comply with city code. Intrepid has agreed to provide equal access to broadband to all residents in the franchise area, granting the same quality of service to all residents and businesses in the jurisdiction. The open access service providers that operate on Intrepid system will be required to get a franchise. And you'll find that in section 2.4 of the franchise that's before you. There is also before you a proposed amendment to section 2.4 that as staff we recommend. This amendment will allow the open access service providers to sign on to the Intrepid franchise, which will be the master franchise agreement. And by signing a joinder agreement, which will be negotiated here shortly, the open access service providers will be able to sign on to the Intrepid franchise and start providing service in the franchise area. The franchise will have a term of 15 years. Intrepid will agree to build out essentially the entire city over a 5-year period of time, and then the exceptions would be for undue economic hardship. There will be annual meetings between commission staff and Intrepid staff to oversee construction of the system over that period of time. That'll take place annually. There is a provision for transfer of ownership, where any transfer of ownership of Intrepid will need to be approved by the commission, and the commission's expenses will be paid. Right-of-way conditions that the city of Woodbury has in their city code must be complied with, and Intrepid has agreed to that. There is a system quality and performance standard in the agreement. Intrepid will construct and operate a state-of-the-art system throughout the service area, which is the city of Woodbury, capable of providing equal access to the same quality of service for all residents. The commission has reserved the right to regulate rates to the extent they're expressly authorized by applicable law. There are reporting requirements for reporting franchise fees, subscriptions, and the like, similar to the types of reporting that you get with your franchise with Comcast. There's robust customer service provisions. There's a provision for a discount for seniors and disabled persons of no less than 10%, which we're very pleased with. Intrepid has agreed to pay consideration in return for the privilege to use the public rights of way. They have agreed to a 5% gross revenue fee and certain other public benefits, those benefits being service to certain locations in the city of Woodbury for government buildings for broadband service, as well as some future to be determined locations. And there's also provisions for providing dark fiber under certain conditions to the city of Woodbury buildings. There's security, identification, and insurance provisions. There's a provision for liquidated damages or penalties. And lastly, there's provisions for revocation, removal, or abandonment of the system. A short note on the process. Local governments want competition and the best services for its residents. From the date of publication to the date of action on this franchise was 63 days. This is a great example of how the public can be protected while acting on an application in a timely manner. In this case, it was 59 days from the date of receiving the application to today, action on a franchise. Franchise negotiations themselves took less than 3 weeks, as we noted in the staff memo. Any suggestion that local government is a barrier to entry is not based in reality. This commission acted very timely. I wanted to provide give some thank yous, first to the City of Woodbury for referring the franchise project to the commission. Secondly, I wanted to thank the folks at Intrepid, particularly Shane Peveril, Alex Williams, Tim Brunny, and their attorneys Russ Blah and Lila Weiss. And then lastly, the commission itself. Ann Schweisguth has been amazing to work with throughout this process, always on top of what was going on throughout this process and making sure that it went as expeditiously as it could possibly go. And then, of course, her staff is amazing. And thank you to you commission directors for overseeing this process. This franchise, in my opinion, will be a great benefit to the residents in the city of Woodbury. With that, your staff recommends first to approve the amendment to Section 2.4 to the franchise agreement that was in your packet. Then secondly, we recommend that the commission approve ordinance number 2025-01, a broadband franchise ordinance granting a franchise to and entering into a franchise agreement with Intrepid Cohort 1 LLC, doing business as Intrepid Fiber Networks, to approve the execution of the broadband franchise ordinance by the chair and the secretary of the commission, and to adopt the staff memo as part of its findings. And then third, if you approve the franchise, we recommend that the commission approve the broadband franchise ordinance summary and direct staff to publish the broadband franchise ordinance summary within 15 days following adoption, if you so choose. And that's my report. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to open it up to the commission for any questions or comments.
Well, I would thank Mike, representing the city of Woodbury. Mike's leadership on this has just been instrumental. And so I know we as the city are pleased with our relationship working through the commission and having Mike's involvement and then working with all of you on this. I feel like this is it's a monumental point in time for the commission, and I feel like we're at a really good landing point. And I just want to make sure Mike gets the credit that I think he deserves with this as well. So thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Rob.
Any other questions or comments? Okay. If there are no more questions or comments, I will be looking for a motion that the SWCTC approve ordinance number 2025-01, as amended in section 2.4, a broadband franchise ordinance granting a franchise to and entering into a franchise agreement with Intrepid Cohort 1 LLC, doing business as Intrepid Fiber Networks, to approve the execution of the broadband franchise ordinance by the chair and secretary of the SWCTC, and to adapt this staff memo as part of its findings.
So let's see, we're taking those individually, right?
I think that's just one,
That's
that
just
I'm looking
one?
for one motion on that.
Don't we have to adopt the amendment first?
think that's included in her.
It was included in her, what she
That
said.
was just one motion.
It was actually all included.
There will be one more motion after this.
I'll
I'll
make
make a
that
motion
motion.
for what she said.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. I am also looking for a motion that SWCTC approve the broadband franchise ordinance summary and direct staff to publish the broadband franchise ordinance summary within 15 days following adoption.
Now I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, both of those have been approved. I also would just like to thank Mike Bradley and Ann Schweisguth for all of your dedicated work on bringing this to fruition, both for the commission and on behalf of the Woodbury residents. I'd also like to acknowledge that we have Alex Williams, the representative from Intrepid here and attending virtually. And Mr. Williams, if you'd like to say a few words, you're welcome to.
Yeah, just wanted to say thank you, Mike, especially working with you through this process. It's been great. And then also thank you to the city. We're super excited for this project and excited to get going.
All right, thank you so much. All right, well, that concludes the Intrepid Fiber Broadband application portion of our agenda. We'll move on to reports. We'll start with the staff report.
Thank you, Chair and Commission. Lonnie is going to start off the staff report talking about some of our AV installations that have recently been going in.
Thank you, Ann. Chair and Commissioners. This one's on too. Okay.
You're good.
All right. So moving forward here, actually in this building, we updated the training room. It's just down the hall here. They had an older projector screen. The system was giving us lots of trouble. So we had the budget to upgrade to a quad video wall. So it's 4 75-inch screens that make up one image, or you can decide to put individual images in each screen, depending on what you want to do. So there's the cable box, a room PC, a click share, and a laptop. If you brought your own laptop, you can plug it in and put it in here. The little square thing with a green light in the top of the picture, that is actually a microphone for the room. So it picks up, there's 2 of those actually in the room with the new screen. This is the touch panel that controls the system. You can have one, like I said, one large image or 4 different images. The back wall has a confidence monitor, so if a presenter is presenting, they can see what they're presenting. And there's 2 cameras in this room for doing video conferencing. So it's a big upgrade. It looks great, functions well. We did repurpose, this microphone was in the training room. We moved it to a conference room and added this little stream deck. And basically you push the button and it records the meeting in the room. You push it again, it stops the recording. So it gives the city a way to record those meetings and have a transcript made of that meeting. So it's a little handy little device, simple setup. Moving on to Central Park. This is the entryway into Central Park. These would be coming through the main doors. This is the desk that will greet everyone. It's kind of hard to see, but on the left where that black pillar is going up, there will be a 98-inch monitor on that wall with some stone around it, and that'll be a wayfinding monitor. Some other information will be displayed on that monitor. It's a really nice open area, greets the people. It's kind of hard to tell, but it will be bright and cheery once you walk in. Very, very nice space. This is a multi-purpose room that is one of the largest conference rooms I've ever had the pleasure of helping build. It's very large. I think, what is it, 200 to 250 people will fit in this room? And it actually divides into 3 individual rooms. There's dividers that will divide this room into 3 separate conference rooms. It's quite AV heavy. This is one of the screens, and these are one of the newer screens where it just has the wires on the side, so there's no border on the screen. It's kind of a trick little device. There's 4 of these screens in this room, and it's slowly coming together. There's a lot to be done there yet, but that's gone in. This is the training room downstairs. It's basically just a monitor. You can do a click share, plug your computer in, it displays to the screen. I believe this is being shared with a school district as well. But it's basically a training room. And the monitor with the green wall is actually one of the Lookout Ridge play area party rooms. And we put monitors in there for the kids to have a little play area, and they can watch, mom and dad can bring a slideshow or whatever they want to do. It's kind of a nice little touch. This is the hallway. Oops, sorry, I should advance the screen. Here you go. This is a really nice addition. This staircase is brand new. They excavated the ground and added this staircase. Comes right off the main entrance. You go downstairs. This monitor is another wayfinding monitor. It's not 98 inches, but it's a very large monitor. It tells you where to go, what rooms are available. And then you want me to talk about this or you want to talk about this?
Either way.
Okay, I'll get talk about this. We've been busy with candidate profiles. As you can see, we did 11 different profiles. We've had 2 forums with legal women voters. And all this can be viewed on our website and our, at truelandsmedia.org. And we're also airing them on our cable channel 859 and channel standard F18, but high def 859. And that's my information. Ann has a video she'd like to share with you.
Yeah, we brought a video tonight. This video really turned out well. This is called From Collapse to Comeback. Nikki Johnson made it for us, along with a lot of help from the team, gathering different footage of this whole situation. I think that this is probably something we'll enter into the Emmys next year, and I brought it tonight for you to check out.
I'm seeing other cars drive past, so I thought maybe nothing is wrong. But as I got closer, Scott was laying on his stomach with his head towards the street. Did he trip? And, is he just taking a moment to collect himself before he gets up? And, all within a matter of sort of split seconds, you start to realize he's not getting up. And I could see in his eyes that he was not okay. Are you Renee Pennicott, the wife of Scott Pennicott?
I knew that it was a very critical situation and had to act quickly.
In that situation, he had minutes.
He's agonal breathing. I'm starting compressions, tell medics to step it up.
And it wasn't until she mentioned the word, she said, please God, don't let this be this man's last day on earth, that I realized sort of that true severity. The healthiest person we all know had a heart attack. That doesn't jive, that doesn't make sense. It was a Sunday, and it was actually a beautiful June day, and I was gonna go for a run, and actually I was gonna go a little bit later in the morning than I would normally do so. Across the street happened to be a gentleman that I just sort of took notice of. You could tell that he was fit, that he certainly looked like a runner. I remember the gentleman had bright shoes.
I had a 10-mile run plan that day, so it was just like any other day. I woke up and put on my shoes and went out the door. It was nothing out of the ordinary. I felt decent, but not great.
And I remembered that he stopped, and I didn't think much of it, just that, maybe he's crossing the street or he's changing directions.
And I just decided at that point that I'm going to stop at mile 9 and call it a day, just not my day, and I'm just going to walk it in.
And out of nowhere, my shoelace came undone. Gosh, that never happens. And so I stopped and I tied my shoe, and when I got up and I looked slightly, diagonal from me, but across the street, this gentleman was down, prone, face on the sidewalk. And at the same time, another vehicle, which now that I know was driven by a woman, she was coming north on Pioneer, and she sort of noticed this gentleman was laying there. So she ran across the street, and as I seen her run across the street, I said, "Did you call 911?" So we weren't both calling.
Then as we got closer, I saw there was a man down in the grass next to the sidewalk laying face down. So, immediately I jerked the wheel over and slammed on the brakes and jumped out to see what I could do to help.
As I'm on the call, she asked me, does someone know CPR? And luckily, and again, sort of this grace of God, this other gentleman who happened to be a Bayport first responder showed up out of nowhere and said, "I've got it." And so he started chest compressions.
And then as soon as I heard the agonal breathing and couldn't get a good pulse, I knew that it was a very critical situation and had to act quickly.
I was on Bailey Road already heading in that direction and hit my lights and sirens, checked the notes on my computer that updates with information from dispatch. Within about 10 seconds, it was upgraded to a cardiac arrest. So that means someone on scene recognized that Scott wasn't breathing, and that just increases the urgency of everything that's happening. So as I pulled up, I grabbed my monitor and jumped out and worked my way through the crowd and saw someone performing chest compressions on Scott, and at that moment, I thought, these are some of the best chest compressions I've ever seen by a rescuer on scene. I said 3 words. I said, keep doing that. So within about 1 second, we were at full charge. I told Aaron, clear. I punched the shock button. We shocked Scott, and I said, start compressions again. So Aaron got right back on doing the chest compressions. I saw what looked like a normal heart rhythm, but the way to confirm that was checking a pulse. And sure enough, we had a good solid pulse. So we could tell that we've brought Scott back to a normal heart rhythm. And at that point, a lot of other things happened in rapid sequence. We had police officers arrive, and the ambulance was just a couple of minutes behind that.
Getting to know Scott and Renee, I've learned that he's an ultramarathon runner. He was an Ironman competitor.
You know, people have always said, like, hey, I can't believe you had a heart attack. You're the last person I think would have a heart attack. And at the end of the day, the genetics weren't on my side. So my mother and father both had high cholesterol, had a heart attack, you know, all the things that happen. And so I couldn't outrace those genetics.
What I think has been really interesting about this story is that we all have these quirky things that put us where we were at the right time.
It was really cool to see the community come together for a complete stranger. And these people aren't strangers anymore, right? They're friends, they're neighbors, they're helpers.
Mr. Rogers had this quote, and he was talking about his mom, and his mom used to tell him, when there's something scary happening, look for the helpers. And in that scary moment when I got home, I thought, gosh, there was so many helpers. And I was like, but don't just look for the helpers, you gotta be the help, right? You have to put yourself in the situation and help, because you just never know.
So a very big kudos to Nikki and the team. It's a very emotional story. I think it's amazing that Scott and all of those people agreed to do the video and to reenact the situation that was obviously very traumatic for them, but they really saw the importance of the message. So
If anyone just got through that without tears, you did better than me.
it's hard to do. And that concludes our staff report.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to our legal report.
This won't make you cry.
Well, my legal report is in your packet. I will just let you know that there's the possibility of some action going forward at the FCC relating to preemption of local governments on wireline and wireless services that we are keeping our eye out on. There'll be some action taken, I think, at the end of September here. And if and when that action is taken, we will bring it to your attention if we feel like there needs to be some sort of response. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, if there are no questions, we'll move on to unfinished business, the 2025 Audit Services.
Thank you very much. So as we spoke at our last meeting, staff did send out a request for quote to Audit Services for 2025. On August 12th, we sent out an RFQ to 4 different vendors. The deadline to submit was September 1st. When we got that deadline, we had only received 1 submission, so we extended that to September 10. Reached back out to the companies that didn't submit. 2 of those companies stated that they didn't feel like they could be economically competitive to our current auditor, and they were not going to submit. But we did get another submission, so we do have 2 to look at tonight. We got RFQs from HLA and Abdo. HLA is Harrington Langer and Associates, which sounds familiar to us because they have been doing our audit for several years now. They're kind of a smaller firm, very well respected and capable. Abdo perhaps might bring a new perspective. They're a very large firm. They do a lot of government accounts along with some other things. Very well respected as well. So I don't think you could pick either of these companies and go wrong, to be honest with you. So they're both good choices. Some clients that they list, HLA has North Metro, which is our community media center up in the North Metro, Blaine kind of area, Alexandra House, and Education Minnesota. Abdo does some accounting for CCX, which is over in Brooklyn Park. Yeah, and a bunch of other cities over there. 9 North, which is in the Roseville area, and city of Shakopee. When we look at their quotes, there's about an $8,000 difference between the two companies. And like I said, either company is a great choice, but leaving it up to the commission to make that decision on if they'd like to stay with Harrington Langer or move over to Abdo for next year.
Thank you. Question?
So I guess we really haven't been having any, turn that back on. We really haven't been having any issues. I know we've got, because of our size, we've had some, the accounting issue over the years in terms of overseeing that and that having enough people to do different pieces of activity and so forth. So personally, I would say that at this point, to me anyway, and there's enough difference in the cost that I would probably say we might as well just stick with our current provider. But
I wonder if the current one provider is that much cheaper too, because they know what they're getting into, they know how much work they got to put into it. They've worked with you before.
It
That's
very well
probably
could
got
be. They're very
something.
knowledgeable of how our audit is.
Versus somebody coming in fresh.
Well, and I'll just make the comment, I feel like we've done our due diligence to put it out for a quote to make sure that we are getting a good company and a good price. So, and I think that was really our intention.
Yeah, same thing. I would like to see a different audit company just to see a different perspective on it, but for $8,000 difference, I'm good.
Any other perspectives? All right, anyone want to put forth a motion?
Say I'll make a motion to select HLA to perform our 2025 audit services.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nay? Okay, so we will move forward with HLA. The next item on our agenda, new business, is the 2026 budget draft version 1.
Yeah, this is really just the first version of many. It's really just to make sure it gets in front of you and that you have it in your hands and have time to look it over. We'll be going into further discussion on the budget at our October Executive Committee meeting. And I'm just inviting anybody who has questions or comments to feel free to send me an email, give me a call, bring it to that meeting. And just making sure that the ball gets rolling on the budget.
I did have one quick question. When we were talking about payroll expenses, how we had put someone in, we had put money aside in case we wanted to add a full-time person this year. Did we include that money in next year's?
We did not.
Did not? Okay.
We did not.
Did you send out that budget?
It was part of the packet.
Oh, it's part of the packet,
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Yep. So you should have it. If you need it again, I'm happy to email it to you.
No, I still got it, I just missed that part then.
Okay,
You know what
good.
page it starts on? This has a quick.
Well, you don't have to find that.
108.
Yeah.
It's down there.
110.
Should be the last thing in your packet.
Yeah, it's like the last 3 pages.
You don't have to find it.
Well, for my own sake, I wanted to.
So you missed it too.
No, I reviewed it earlier, but I was trying to get a visual on it this time around. I didn't have any.
It's got all the colors on it, so you'll be easy to spot.
When do we have to finalize that?
In December.
December,
Am
okay.
I looking at the right?
So we'll have it here, we'll have it at executive, and then we'll have it at the December meeting
Open the
again.
right file, that's why. So I'm good. I'll move on with my life.
And I did already bring in the treasurer to the office. Commissioner Downs was good enough to come in and we talked through the budget.
Okay, great. Did you have any comments you wanted to offer then, since?
No, I mean, just walking through it, talking about some of the changes and some things going on, talk about the fact that we didn't have another employee on there. I guess the one thing that came up, which is part of what we did here tonight earlier and what Mr. Bradley's been saying for a long time, which is, the source of revenue is changing, right? And that's why the the new franchise activity we're taking is that much important. I mean, I said, the first page, the first thing you see, top line, percentage change for budget, you see all these minuses for the income. And, that's a projection. It's not a guarantee we're going to lose. I mean, may not be the case, but that's what we're planning on, right? That's the expectation is we're going to see, the cable franchise fees, the PEG, we're going to see these things start to move down. So it's certainly again, first page top line reminder of where we should be looking, what we should be doing as a commission. So that was the first thing I noticed, and for good reason.
A comment too, and just a comment, not necessarily on the numbers themselves, but the fact is that when obviously we've got some potentially new franchise, agreement coming in, and it's localized on one of the member cities, and then, Cottage Grove will have some potential, well, that won't even play into it because it's not franchise. So I believe we're probably going to have to take a look at how are those, that 5% and so forth going to play into the budget and the revenues, and how any excess at the end, as we went through in years past, would potentially get doled out to cities, and so we're probably going to have to revisit that at some point, I would imagine.
That will be a future discussion, for sure.
Correct, yeah.
Didn't you say we wouldn't see any franchise fees for a while, though? I mean, several months or maybe a year or something?
Oh, it's gonna be years.
They have to build.
Yeah.
Right.
Any other comments or questions about the budget? Okay, so that's just a preview. We'll talk about it again in October, so no action items at this time. We'll move on to the next item, commission comments and requests.
I'm curious how are we doing with the budget for the remodel for the offices?
Good, we're still under budget.
Perfect.
That's the bottom line.
That's all I want to hear.
All right.
When would Intrepid get started, once they get everything approved? Have they said or not?
Chair and members, you've agreed to a franchise with them. It'll be effective upon publication. Then they'll work with the city of Woodbury on any permitting for this construction season. We're getting later in the year, so I don't expect there to be a tremendous amount of construction before the end of this year. But I do expect that there will be some. And then, then they'll have all of 2026 construction season to move forward, assuming they get everything worked out with the city of Woodbury.
Okay, I think I'm looking for a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.